recording? Okay, cool. That Jits Life. All right, are you ready?
Do it, man.
All right, That Jits Life. Mike Stone.
Yeah. That Jits Life, man.
That
I'm here.
Jits Life. Welcome, man. I appreciate you doing this.
Yeah, it's a little flattering to be asked to do a podcast.
Oh, I appreciate it, man.
Podcast virgin.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Right.
Not as of today. But yeah, so you've been doing jiu-jitsu for a while, right? You've had a purple belt for a bit?
Yeah, Joe. I don't really think about it in years like that, but I mean, I guess it's been a couple of years. It's at the old location, so two, 3 years.
Yeah.
I guess.
Awesome. Yeah. So were you already doing jiu-jitsu before you started here?
No, crazy story. I did jiu-jitsu probably about 3 years before I trained with Joe. I trained for 3 years, got the blue belt funk or blues or
blue belt blues, or
whatever they call it.
Yeah.
And I could tell you it's a million different things, but let's be honest, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Took 10 years off.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Got into some different stuff, different activities. And then, I had a couple guys, I think Joe Rogan in his podcast spurred a bunch of guys like, oh man, jiu-jitsu, it sounds awesome. We should do it. Man, I always want to try it. And I'm like, I used to do that. And they're like, oh, bullshit. And this, and you always have like your basic jiu-jitsu stuff. It never really goes away. So you can kind of, you could always throw a scissor sweep on someone or disrupt their base or make
something cool.
And they're like, whoa, you're a ninja. And I'm like, no, actually I suck.
No big deal.
They all wanted to go back, and I'm like, all right, so let's go back.
Yeah.
And I'll go with you.
Was that local here when you were doing it, when you did it 10 years ago?
Yeah. It was, actually, it was the only place in town that offered jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
And it was awesome. It was back in the days of UFC, Randy Couture was fighting and that age, whatever era that was.
Yeah.
But it's that's kind of what spurred me to first get into jiu-jitsu was that you watch these UFC fights and hell, like everybody, you're like, just stand up, bro. I would just stand up, man.
Especially if you did karate like
Quit
in high school or something.
being a baby, just punched you in the face and your
stand up,
eyeballs hanging out. Just stand up, you go to any bar and hear that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'll go see what it's all about, and with a little bit of doubt in my mind, like I did karate when I was a real little kid, and I'm like, this shit, you get on the schoolyard, I'm like, this doesn't work, bro.
Yeah, get on the ground, or you're used to like karate fighting someone else that does karate, but no one punches and blocks a punch.
Right. So I'm like,
it's a brawl.
I was kind of down on the whole, it was more like a WWF sort of mentality with the karate. So I tried the jiu-jitsu, and about 3 days in, some dude, smaller than me, skinny guy, and I'm just trying to give him hell, like white belt hell,
Yeah.
Like
spastic.
I don't know what to do, but if I just push harder, that's going to get me to where I want to be, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like bearing down on this guy, and all of a sudden I'm like looking at ceiling tiles. I'm like, what the?
What just happened?
Whoa! What sort of black magic was that, man? And he had hit me with the scissor sweep, and I'm like, well, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's the only move I need to know, because if you're on top of me and I can sweep you, now I'm on top and I'm good. I could fix that problem. And that's what hooked me. Yeah. And ever since then, it's just been like, it's an addiction. I think it's a...
It is, hence this podcast. I kind of started morphing my life around jiu-jitsu. The way I eat, the way I sleep, all that stuff.
I don't know. I give Joe a hard time all the time. I'm like, man, you're an addict. And he is. He's addicted to the jiu-jitsu. Yeah. But, I mean, I guess there's worse things to be addicted to. But
yeah,
I think 100%. There's truth to that. I really do.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of, in the middle of the day, you're at work, and you're like, maybe I can get a YouTube hit of so-and-so on this sweep and how to, whatever.
As you're forwarding stuff to friends, and you're like,
yeah,
check this out. And you're like, I should be working.
Yeah, but man, did you see this fight? Oh, did you see the Craig Jones thing, man? Oh, man, that was an awesome fight, and and
you're thinking about it all day.
Yep.
I think that's probably what happened when I left corporate America like a little over a year ago, and started coming to work for Joe. I'd been training with him for I guess about 4-ish years. And I was like, just all day, I was like, I don't want it. I was doing mortgage stuff. And it's, you know, some people love it. It's just, I had 20 plus years behind a desk doing corporate stuff. It just started to affect me, you know, physically. And I just hated what I was doing. Great company I was working for, great people, all that. I just did not want to analyze W-2s anymore and tax statements and all this crap. And I just didn't want to do that type of work anymore. And I was in here in the morning and then leaving here and thinking about it all day. And
you're an addict, man. Yeah. I'll just say it. You're an addict too.
Yeah. I have an addiction.
It is.
Yeah.
And the whole time you're at work, you're like, man, I wonder if I can get this YouTube video in. I just want to see that one, you know, that guy hit me with that this morning. What's the defense? And
or especially like the 6 a.m. Stefan started doing again where he records the rolls. So then it's on YouTube and then you can go back and watch your own rolls. And then you're deep in that.
Oh, yeah. That's like...
before you know, you're doing nothing but jiu-jitsu stuff all day and getting fired.
You know, stealing grandma's TV to pawn it for jiu-jitsu money, I guess.
Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't get that bad.
Yeah, agreed. But yeah, that was a massive change for me, and it's been a little over a year. I'm more consistent now. Not that I have to be, but I still get here early.
You kind of have to be, man.
I mean, early on, I wasn't consistent. I wasn't getting good, and not that I was thinking about quitting, but I was like, I'm not like, I don't know, I don't get it. I'm not picking this up. These people are whipping my butt.
Everybody's smarter than man. I must be an idiot. Everyone here is smarter than me because that guy figured this out right.
And that guy's tiny, and how's he?
Right.
Yeah.
What you don't know is that guy drilled that about 1,000 times, and he's been working on it for 7 months to get it to the point where it's at right now. And I'm like, well, I want to walk in, and I want give me the magic pill, man.
Yeah.
You got a magic pill that makes me good at jiu-jitsu? It's like, no.
Whatever BJ Penn or Sam got or whatever, these high-level dudes that get black belts in like 4 years. Like
yeah, but they eat, breathe, sleep. Those are the guys that are living at the gym. They wake up, they go to the gym. They might teach a class or two, and then they're going to train, and then they're going to go across town and train with that guy.
Yeah.
And, hey, so-and-so's in town, so I'm going to, you know.
It just makes sense why some people are so good. I want to say Joe was like an 8 or 9 year black belt, but he's so good and so technical. He's so high level.
And, yeah. I will say this. We do get a pretty high level of jiu-jitsu here. Like, I mean, you watch the Crud Jones thing, and you're like, man, Joe's teaching that last week. Like, what?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that thing that they're doing. Man, everybody's got their foot in the shoulder. Everybody's, you know, the shallow lasso. I'm seeing it everywhere.
That today.
And all this stuff, you know, Joe's going over. It's like,
yeah.
That's the stuff we get every day.
Yeah, he jokes around about it, but I guess not joking around about it, but he's a nerd, man. He's a jiu-jitsu nerd. He knows and learns all this stuff, and then he implements it and teaches it and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've nothing to compare it to. I've never been to another gym anywhere, but I've always heard that from everybody that comes from somewhere else than here or just travels.
It's such a high level of detail, you know, and then coming here after not training for 10 years and you know, training elsewhere, I was like, man, jiu-jitsu has changed a lot in 10 years.
Yeah.
Like you know, the level of detail you get down into for just some basic, like, you know, collar sleeve stuff. It's like,
and some of those details make the biggest difference.
Oh, yeah.
Being able to sweep or not being able to sweep.
Moving your foot like 1 inch off of this, you know, 1 inch closer to the collarbone because you have better leverage here, and you know, your foot should be at this angle because you can press it.
Yeah, right? And if he does this, then you can do that, and it's so intricate and complex. And I'm not a smart guy by any means.
No.
And it's a mental.
Yeah. Jiu-jitsu, it's one of those things. Like the more you know, the more you realize I don't really know anything about it.
I don't know what I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's funny doing it for a while now. I'm like, I'm starting to do this, and I feel like that was like day 4 for people like Joe. I'm like, it took me 5 years to like start using my hooks properly and sweeping without less effort.
I've noticed that too. The further you get along, you know, it's like, hey, you know, get your feet high on the shoulders. You're like, yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I mean, when I fall back, my feet are up. They're high. He's like, no, not that.
Like here.
Like here high. Like at, you know, shoulder level high. I'm like, oh. So you've been saying this for like the past 4 years. I've heard you say it 1,000 times, and now it actually sinks in. I get. That's what you mean. Okay,
yeah.
Got it.
What's interesting to me is the stuff that just starts happening automatically. I don't know. It's been a while since I've heard the term invisible jiu-jitsu, but I think that was in relation to like pressure. I don't know. I want to say I thought it was applying pressure from the top, like without really thinking about it.
Yeah.
Just being able to apply heavy I
think one of the Gracies came up with like the invisible concept of jiu-jitsu or something along those lines.
I forget, but stuff
but
like
I know what you mean.
Yeah, and I don't know. So that's like, I guess, one thing of it, but I guess something that people start doing automatically, and I'm starting to do certain things automatically. A big one that I've been messing around with lately is like weight distribution and automatically detecting it. Like I'll be on the bottom in, I don't know, half guard or something. I'm like, I'm working a lot more with my hooks, my sticky hooks, and I'll feel the weight change, and I'll just have my hand like on the outside of a knee, and I'm just like, I just start sort of moving, and I'm like, oh, that's weird. I'm sweeping them. There's zero effort. So I'm starting to do stuff like that automatically without thinking about it. Yeah. But it's taken 5 years.
They call it the invisible principles of jiu-jitsu, or the blue belt or the black belt magic. It's like, oh, the black belt they do the exact same move, but it's so precise.
They're so
and executed
tight,
perfectly
like
that it feels like you can't stop it, and you have no idea where it came from, and all of a sudden you're looking at ceiling tiles. Like,
it is weird having something done on you, like during a drill or something like that, with a partner that's blue belt or a couple years doing it, and then when Joe shows it, like it looks the same to an average person, but it feels so different. But yeah, all that muscle memory and years and years and years of drilling, they know where you're going to be 3 steps before you get there. It's interesting.
We were here one night, and the wrestling coach was here, and we were just doing some fit-ins, and he collar tied me, just drilling, and we're just talking like this, and he's like, yeah, boom. I'm like, bro, what was that?
Just feels
like
different.
Let me see your hand. Like, what's going on here? If you feel different.
Yeah. Shout out Coach Brian. It's the same when Joe grabs you and he shows you something basic. You're like, dude, dial back. Like,
I mean, the very first time I rolled with Joe, I came in, I'm like, hey, I've got these buddies, they want to try jiu-jitsu, I used to train, do you care if, we kind of check it out for a day? Or you're like, oh, yeah, come on. You want to roll? And I'm like, sure. So we're rolling, and, anyway, Joe does what Joe does, and, then I'm on my back, and he gets me cross-side. He was so heavy that when we got done, I didn't even ask. I just reached and felt his gi, like, is this gi? What is this, like a lead collar in this thing, or what? Why is he so heavy?
Yeah.
And it's just knowing what to do, knowing where to put your pressure.
It's crazy how that builds up over time, just being able to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's insane. Yeah, he has this way of like sitting on your chest when he's doing, I don't even know what some of the things he's doing are. It's so uncomfortable. Like I just want to push you off me so you can armbar me, get this over with, or whatever it is. Knee on belly's not fun either, but yeah. So before you did jiu-jitsu, and it's been a while, but you're a Marine, right?
Yep. So I grew up in Chicago. Right out of high school, went in the Marine Corps. Spent 6 years in the Marine Corps, which is, it sucks, but I mean, so does jiu-jitsu. Parts of jiu-jitsu suck too, right? You make the best of it, and I mean, I had a lot of fun in the Marine Corps. Probably too much fun.
Yeah.
After that, came back to Tennessee and kind of got in the construction world, and still in that world. Yeah. The jiu-jitsu came, when the UFC started, or the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah.
That was on TV all the time. I mean, you see the UFC fights, and they were cool, but it was a one-time thing.
Yeah.
You start seeing the Ultimate Fighter, and the guys doing jiu-jitsu there, and just kind of, I don't know.
Well, it's funny when you watch this stuff, just UFC or MMA in general, and you're watching it, you're seeing the jiu-jitsu, and you're like, oh, it all ties together, it makes sense. But then when you're doing jiu-jitsu, you're like, how does someone, like, how am I stopping someone from punching me in the face? Like, I can stop them from grabbing the back of my head and darting me or something. But, like, if they can also knee me in the face as I'm getting up, there's a whole different level to that.
That's a fun game to play if you can get, I mean, even some MMA gloves, and not really trying to, like, punch each other, but, you can roll jiu-jitsu and just kind of tap.
Do some combat jiu-jitsu.
You get 4 or 5 taps in the eye, and you're like, I'm pretty sure my eye would be either swollen shut or I'd be blind. And
gives you different respect for people like Brett Cooper and our MMA coach, and that people that do that or have done it professionally.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Everybody want to be an MMA fighter. Man. Everybody wants to be like, fuck that. You know how much work? You know how hard that is?
That's a lot to learn.
Every day.
And be proficient
I mean, you go to bed, you feel like you've been hit by a truck. You wake up, it's like, I'm pretty sure I got beat up in my sleep. Let's go do all that again. Yeah. Every day, day after day after day. Yeah. That's a tough life, man.
Yeah.
You got to be like super disciplined and dedicated to that.
Yeah. Would you say that being in the military helped kind of form like how you are with fitness and stuff like that?
Yeah. I've always, even before the Marine Corps, I was always into fitness in some capacity.
Like a sport and stuff like that?
Yeah. Never, I mean, I played football, and I enjoyed it. I've always been into, this single person sports. I've been doing CrossFit for probably the last 10, 12 years.
Oh, nice. That probably helps out a lot with just
human
stuff. Well, you're in construction, so you have a physical job.
Yeah, and that's by design. I mean, when I was in the Marine Corps, I was working on avionics on airplanes.
Okay.
So all the electronic systems. So I had, and it was great because we would sit in this little thing, and it was air conditioned to keep the electronics cool. And I'm like, I would rather be outside because this is just kind of sucks.
Yeah.
So I knew I wanted to work outside. So the construction kind of fit into that. The fitness, I've always gone to the gym. Even as a kid, I had a membership to whatever gym, wherever, and I would just go.
Yeah.
And the Marine Corps is like, that's when I kind of really got more serious about it.
Kind of had to.
Yeah, it would affect my paycheck at that point.
Yeah.
So now you're messing with my wallet. So I'm going to be in shape.
Well, I was thinking more initially going through boot camp. And first of all, for the record, I'm not in the military. I've never been in the military.
Yeah.
But I would think like boot camp would just sort of force you into, would help if you're
already. And you'd want to be
shape.
ready. I guess I spent a lot of time getting ready for that. A lot of running and pull-ups and that sort of thing. I just always, I don't know. I mean, I mountain bike.
Staying active.
Try to be pretty regular on the mountain bike. I still try and CrossFit a couple days a week. I'll be 50 this year, so I feel like I have to spend more time doing recovery.
Yeah. I've noticed that too.
So we reintroduced yoga in 3 days a week, and that's a big help.
It's a lot of activities, a lot of there's a lot of people that either very sedentary, don't want to do anything, people that just have to do stuff regularly, and then people that are in the middle. I'm probably more in the middle. Like I still have to sort of force myself to, not come in here to do jiu-jitsu and do all this, but I come in early to stretch and do some PT and then do like a calisthenics workout. So sometimes I'm like, I don't want to do any of this. I just want to start jiu-jitsu.
I was in the same boat. Like, if you asked me 10 years ago to yoga, I don't want to go to yoga. I would rather go to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Hey, it's sunny outside. I'm going to ride bikes.
Yeah.
I may go hit a CrossFit. I'm like, well, let me go bang some iron or bang heads or something.
Yeah.
But you get forced into where I have to. Now I have to.
I bet a big part of that is just like a mental aspect of it. Like you feel late. I don't know how to explain it. It's like when I'm not doing something, like if I'm at the house, I constantly pace around. I'm constantly like fixing stuff or organizing stuff. I don't sit down a lot. I feel like I always have to be doing something, or else I feel lazy. Like if I skip jiu-jitsu or don't do anything that day, I'm like, I'm a lazy pile of shit. I feel like I need to do something.
I try and do one physical something a day.
Yeah.
And it may be yoga. Sunday I go to yoga. Monday I do jiu-jitsu. Tuesday I'll go to yoga. And I'll try and hit CrossFit and then go to yoga on Tuesday. Wednesday I'll jiu-jitsu. Thursday I will CrossFit. Friday I coach CrossFit. Saturday I'm going to hot yoga. And then Sunday back to yoga on Sunday.
That's awesome. Yeah, and staying busy like that, it's just it's a roadmap for, I mean, you're 50. Most 50-year-olds aren't doing that level of activity, and that's the reason why when you're 80, you're going to be out mountain biking and shit and doing jiu-jitsu. And
I hope so.
Because you did this stuff. I mean, you have to dial it back over the years with doing less and
I already feel like
more.
I am.
Yeah.
With the jiu-jitsu for sure.
Yeah.
You got to be real careful about injuries because, the 30-year-old comes in and
put you out
they
for a while.
Twist their shoulder up. Okay, give me like a couple days and 2 shots of Motrin, and they're back.
Good to go.
let me drink a Gatorade just to make sure I'm hydrated. I'm like, okay, I'm good, man. Let's go.
We need surgery to.
And now I'm like
10 months off.
A month later, it's still an issue.
Yeah. It's crazy. I broke my ankle, and it was like a 10-month recovery. I mean, I probably could have been better at PT and stuff like that, but I've got this like nagging chronic SI joint thing that's been like 3 years. So every time I train, I'm training at like 60%. I got to like, some days I don't train because of it. Sometimes I can stretch it out enough where I get through the training. And it's just sucks getting old, man.
Yeah, it gets worse. Give you something to look forward to.
I'm 5 years behind. I'll be 45 in November.
It was like 47, 48.
Yeah.
Like this just hurts. Why?
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything different in my life.
Yeah.
Why does this hurt?
I get injured. I have a lot of stuff that happens in jiu-jitsu, but then there's a bunch of stuff I just call old man shit. Like, I don't know. I had this thing. I had two separate things. One was, I think it was because I was raking too much. Did a bunch of yard work on Saturday and just did a bunch of raking or brooming, and I ended up WebMDing it and figuring it out, which is probably like the first time in history that someone's done that and it was accurate. I forget what it was called, but all the muscles in this part, on this part of your forearm that control this, one's for like a thumb, one's for the rest of it. There was like no fluid in there or something. It was making this weird noise, and it was sore as heck. I couldn't open my hand. I had to like literally put a brace on and just have it like that for 2 weeks, and then it was gone. Like, what was that? All the, like, when I looked up, what causes it, it was like rowing and like all these activities. And I'm like, nope. And then one was like yard work, and I was like, that's it. I was like, what the hell was that? And another time I did something I thought it like happened during jiu-jitsu, but it was like the straw on it because I was doing a bunch of push-ups like this, and I was just tweaked my hand the wrong way, and I just hurt my wrist. I was like, I can't do jiu-jitsu for like 4 days because I did a push-up wrong.
Right.
Like, what's up with that?
Yeah, it's it sucks, man. And
Better than doing
I like to
nothing,
play,
though.
and I like to do what I like to do. I mean, I like to go and ride and do jiu-jitsu and lift weights and do all the things.
That's why I gotta be careful.
So,
one thing puts you out, and you can't do any of the stuff you like
so
to do.
I'm pretty careful about all of it. That's why I started adding yoga into the mix, and it's been a big help. Just flexibility, and then you get the 5 minutes at the end of yoga where they're like, relax your forehead, and you're like, I don't even know what the hell that means. But okay, and it's like relax your eyebrows, and it's
meditating,
like, relax your tongue. I'm like, my freaking tongue is not. All right, maybe there's like some tension in my tongue, and it's like
before you're sleeping,
you're shut down for 5 minutes, and you're just worried about what's relaxed on your body, and it's that's nice.
Yeah, and you actually think about that, like trying to relax certain stomach and core muscles that are always engaged.
Always engaged.
So if you lay on your back and you put a bunch of pillows and you kind of make like a 90-degree, whatever that shape
L-sit
is,
or whatever.
Yeah, and you take all the pressure off your
lower back,
psoas and stuff like that. You put like an ice pack under it. Just sit like that for a half hour, and you get up and you're like, jeez, but it's hard doing that. My mind doesn't work like that. I'm moving around a lot. But
yeah, man, you should go to yoga.
I've tried yoga a bunch of times, and it is hard. I do want to do it.
It is hard.
The thing I have going on with my back makes it almost impossible to do.
That's
like,
why I go
certain positions.
It's really for my back.
Yeah. I don't even know what this is. I was thinking up until yesterday that it was something related to my SI joint, but I recently learned yesterday that there's something called a joint facet.
Yeah.
Or facet, whatever, right next to, it's part of like the L4, like the spine. Because I was at PT, and I was like, I don't know if it's actually SI joint. Maybe it's something right next to it, because I got a steroid shot last week, and it doesn't help it at all. My PT was like, lay on your stomach. Let me push in this one spot. So he worked that joint through the motions, creating synovial fluid or whatever to lubricate it. And I got up, and I was like, get the fuck out of here. Like, all of a sudden I can move better. So I'm getting x-rayed and stuff, but stuff like, I just can't really.
I don't know, man. I wrecked a truck in 99, and flipped it a few times, and my back was pretty screwed up after that. It's just never, I don't know.
It's annoying. You gotta train and do stuff accordingly. That's the annoying part.
There's no doubt I can fix it. Because I would go, I did CrossFit for years, and not at a high level, but we would go compete, and never had any back issue. It may just be that it was so freaking strong from lifting every day, or
the muscle supporting.
Yeah. So, and if that's what it takes to get back there, then that's okay.
It's crazy. I noticed that after I do a bunch of PT work with like core stuff and quads and all that stuff, it makes my back feel better because it's probably just more supported temporarily while it's I don't know. It's a weird thing.
Yeah, back pain is not, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
It's so annoying.
It's like a hard fight to fight, too, because you're like, what's wrong?
Especially if you don't know what it is. Like,
Right.
I still have no idea. I've had MRIs on my hip and all this stuff. I'm getting an X-ray and MRI on my lower spine to see if I've got like a bulging disc or something. Who knows?
I think some of it's in my head.
Yeah.
Like, it's been pissed off for so many years. I'm just so used to my back being, like, when it's not. I did have, like, a 3-month run where it was, like, pain-free. I'm like, I've got the back of a 20-year-old. I feel awesome. My jiu-jitsu was better. Like, I'm like, hell yeah, I'm back, bitches. And
then you bump into a car the wrong way and it's all shot back.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just cumulative.
Yeah.
You know, you'll take a ding in jiu-jitsu. You're like, oh. But I can keep going.
Yep.
And you do.
Yep.
And then you go to yoga and you're like, man, I've been trying to do this new cool move. And, you know, you do it and you're like, you know, man, a little stinger. You're like, man, that sucks. I shouldn't have done that. I felt it in my back, but you know what? I could keep going.
Yeah.
And you do. And then all of a sudden you bend over to tie your shoes and it feels like you've been stabbed in the spine.
That happens a lot with jiu-jitsu. Last week or the week before, I went like 6 days in a row where I literally, when I was here, and I'm like I don't dress in full gear. I have like just shorts and a t-shirt on instead of like spats and a compression shirt. I'm like, I'm just gonna watch, or maybe sometimes I'll plan on just drilling. And like 6 days in a row, it went from maybe drilling to full rolling.
Full on death match.
For like 5 different rolls, and afterwards being like, oh fuck, that was a bad idea.
I know. Joe's like, every time, man, you know, if you're hurt and you can't, you should come and watch. And I'm like,
that's so hard to do. I've done that, but I've also not done that. When I broke my ankle, it was 2 months. I didn't come anywhere near here.
You can't
at all. I was just so bummed out.
Well, I'll just put my cast off the mat, and then I could drill over here halfway on the mat.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, knucklehead, just go to the house.
And it's funny, like if you literally cannot do anything, like if you broke your legs or something, it's hard to watch that, but it's good. I mean, obviously you retain stuff, you learn stuff, but yeah, when I broke my ankle, 2 months didn't come here at all. And then when I got the air cast off, I would come and I was literally just watching. And then it was a point where it was okay enough where I was on the mat just stretching and just watching from the mat.
That's the first step.
And I wasn't planning on doing anything. I didn't drill or anything, but there were 2 newer guys. They were doing something. And I was like, oh, you want to have your leg like that? And he just came right over to me like you normally would on the mat. I'm like,
next thing you know, you're bumping fists, and here you go.
Yeah. I didn't get that far. I literally just showed him, but I was like, oh, I hadn't like touched jiu-jitsu in like 4 months, and I was showing him like a triangle or something. It didn't hurt my foot, but I was like, oh, this is weird. I haven't done it in so long, but I was like, yeah, I miss doing it, but
yeah, you do miss it. You know, even in my 10-year hiatus, you'd still like see a fight on TV or see something, you're like, man, that's oh man, that guy should, oh man, yeah. Man. Or you'd be sitting there drinking beers with your buddy, and like, what? I don't even know what he's doing. What are they doing on the ground, man? That's so
that's
boring.
That's called ashigurumi.
Well, look at him. He's trying to shift his hips outside and this and that. I said, if he gets his foot over his back, then he's in trouble because, you know, the triangle's there or an arm bar. And they're like, dude, how do you know all this stuff? Like,
That Jits Life.
Yeah. You just, you know it. You eat, breathe, sleep it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
it is funny watching, like, I don't play golf, but, like, we're watching golf with my brother-in-law who plays golf and loves golf. I'm like, I don't really know I know some things about golf, but it's boring as hell to me. But if we were watching jiu-jitsu, I'm like, I know what they're doing for the most part. I can see what they're trying to do.
Man,
and
he'd be like, that underhook, that guy's so screwed. And
he's like, underhook? What are you talking about, underhook? Like, just get up and punch him.
Just stand up, bro. I would just stand up.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's,
I don't think so, Chief.
No, because they've never done it.
Yeah.
It's funny to hear, though. I mean, you know, you still go to, you know, you'll be out somewhere and the UFC fight will be on, and something like, man, if that was me, I would just knock that dude out, and I would just stand up and knock him and kick him in the head. Like, no, you wouldn't.
Okay. Sure, pal. Yeah, it doesn't work like that.
No, not at all. No.
That's funny. So one thing I do end up talking about quite a bit on the podcast, just because of the nature of it, for me anyway, the jiu-jitsu lifestyle is like sleeping and eating. Do you do anything specific for bedtime, for when you get up in the morning, food, supplements, any of that stuff?
I guess let's talk about food. Most people think I'm pretty weird about what I eat. And I don't think I'm weird.
I'll be the final determination of that.
You know?
What do you
totally
mean?
On a side note, like, there's always this running joke at CrossFit. It's like, you know, who's normal here? You know, name someone here that's normal.
Nope.
Other than me, you know, obviously me, but you're looking around, you're like, well, that guy's screwed. Same thing happens here.
Yeah.
You know, like you look around like, who's the normal guy here? That guy seems pretty normal till you talk to him and he's like, bro, you're way out in left field. But,
Yeah.
I mean, love you to death, but you're wacko. Yeah. So anyway, back to your question.
So what do you eat? What's so odd about how you eat?
Um,
I can't remember if you ever told me or not.
So I got into some intermittent fasting, and I've kind of dabbled in all of it. I mean, I was vegan for like a week at one time.
I did that for 5 years.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you eat?
I just flipped a switch and I don't even remember, to be honest with you. A lot of beans. And fake shit. And
Yeah,
I lost
fake,
30
it's
pounds.
fake shit. Yeah, you said it.
Yeah.
Like you get into it, and I'm like 4 days in, and the only thing I've had is powdered greens and juiced vegetables. I'm like, where's the real? You know, and you talk to someone, they're like, oh, you can eat French fries. And I'm like,
yeah, I didn't eat out a lot. I mean, I made food at my house. I'm a pretty simple guy when it comes to food. Like, 3 ingredients, microwave it, whatever.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that horrible for me. But yeah, I did it for about 5 years. I just lost a bunch of weight, and I felt fine doing it. But I ended up trying to get.
I didn't feel good. I didn't feel good doing it.
I think I was kind of particular about the way I did it, because when I first did it, I ate vegetarian for like 3 years. I wasn't trying to eat vegetarian. I was getting acupuncture, and the lady that was doing it, I was saying how I was just always uncomfortable, having trouble processing food, and she's like, maybe you can take out some of the meat and help you start processing food. So I replaced, I didn't really replace anything. I was eating less steak and chicken, and I tried tofu mixed in sauce.
Don't do that, man.
It had no taste to it, but it added protein. But yeah, I don't want a lot of it. But before I knew it, I wasn't eating meat.
Spikes your estrogen levels.
Yeah, mine are probably already high enough.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, then I was like, wait a minute, it's been like 2 months since I was eating.
I'm weird about. My wife will have tofu, and I'm like,
yeah,
slide that shit in the corner of the fridge and don't let it touch my stuff. She's like, it's wrapped in plastic. I'm like, I don't care.
Get out of here. I don't mind tofu. I've had it in a bunch of different ways, but yeah I definitely like chicken.
I eat a lot of nut. I eat the same lunch. I eat the same breakfast and lunch every day. The exact same
I'm a
thing.
creature of habit.
And I've just recently started eating breakfast. I was an intermittent faster, and still I am, off and on, for years and years and years and years. Done a lot of 3-day fasts, which are, those are doable. I've done a couple 5-day.
Those are tough.
It seems a little excessive.
Yeah.
5 days. 3 seems to be the primo number for me. Some people are like, I haven't eaten in a month. I'm like, okay.
It's a little bit much.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, 1 day is hard.
Not really.
I guess depending on, so for a while I was doing OMAD, so do a 24-hour fast was nothing.
Right.
But 3-day fast for me, I was like, I get past 24 and 36 hours, I'm like, I don't, why am I doing
Once you get
this?
past 24, it's okay. Then you're just kind of in this, I don't know, your senses are better. Everyone's like, oh, I think better. It's like, maybe.
Yeah.
I know your physical senses become better, because we'll be having this conversation, and if a bird were to fly by, I'd be like, man, did you see that bird? Like, bro, you got X-ray vision or something? Are you like a fucking German Shepherd? How are you seeing birds fly? And you just do, because I think you're just starving.
Yeah. I was gonna say, what's it called? Limitless, I think, with Chris. What's his name? Thor. Chris. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No. Actor? No way.
Yeah, big actor. He's a big dude. I think he was in Thor. I think he was Thor. Anyway, he did a thing with Dr. Peter Attia. So the show, I think it was Chris's show or whatever it was like a 5-series episode. And one of them was, he did a fast with Peter Attia. They did a 5-day fast. So they documented the whole thing, and then the end of it, they didn't just get something to eat and start eating. They actually went out on a boat and went out into the ocean and caught fish.
Oh yeah.
And then brought it back and ate their own caught food, and they were talking about a lot of the stuff the senses
probably
that just
some
changed.
Primal benefit to that.
Something to it. I think it made them sharper when they were I think they spearfished it actually.
Yeah.
I don't think they fished.
I mean,
I think it made their senses
your
sharper.
senses are heightened for sure. I will contest to that.
Deep DNA that's you got to eat or you're gonna die kind of thing.
Yeah,
That's some crazy stuff.
caveman stuff.
Yeah. So do you still intermittent fast or
I do.
a form of it?
I just recently started introducing breakfast, and really, I have the same breakfast. I have 2 fried eggs over easy. Usually with some fruit if we have it at the house, and that's it. It's not a lot, but it's just that little bump of protein.
Yeah.
For lunch I have a tortilla wrap with 2 slices of cheese and 3 slices of meat with some mustard or mayonnaise and some Italian dressing. I got some chips, a yogurt,
There you go.
kombucha. creatine and powdered greens
There you go.
every day, same thing.
That's funny because I feel like we're doing the same thing. So for a while, for probably better part of a year and a half, I did OMAD. So I wasn't eating anything until like 6 o'clock at night. I was done by like 8 or so, and I would go through phases where I would pig out, eat a bunch of garbage, and then where the 2 hours would be healthy. But I lost like 30 something pounds.
Yeah.
But then recently I just started eating breakfast. Tia had me start doing that because I was, doing a workout before jiu-jitsu, and I'm like, I'm getting tired at like 1 in the afternoon. She's like, it's because you're not eating till 6
You
o'clock,
got to have
dummy.
some gas to go on, man.
Yeah, so I'm the same thing every single morning. I prep it as soon as I get home. I've got 2 Greek yogurts. I do homemade trail mix. That's basically just almond nuts and raisins.
Yeah.
I'll get walnuts sometimes, and I just put the nut mixture into the yogurt and have that with a banana. And it's like, I don't know, 50, 60 grams of protein or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Protein shake sometimes too, and
I will throw some protein shakes in there if I'm
every single morning.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, and then nothing. I like training fasted, but then I feel like shit like a few hours later from not eating properly around or just not having the right electrolytes or something.
I don't know. I mean, I never, even on a 5-day, I never really felt a decline in my performance. I mean, I'd come here fasted and roll.
Yeah, I did that for a while. I was doing intermittent fasting for a while, and I would do a workout. So I would be done working out or eating by like 8 at night, and then I would eat again at noon. But I would do 6 a.m. jiu-jitsu, and then the place I worked at the time, we had a personal training facility in the same parking lot. So I would do this intense personal training workout with like 3 other people or whatever from 11:30 to 12. And I was done with that, and then I just ate like as much as I could. Like I brought food into work, and I'd eat a bunch after that. But that workout in jiu-jitsu, like fasted, I felt cleaner, like I felt lighter.
You feel light, like you can jump,
more
you can
efficient.
cut, and you can just move, and I feel like your vision is better, and it's just, I don't know. I mean, it may be some placebo, but
who knows?
If it works, it works. I don't care.
That's crazy.
Yeah. No, I don't really go out to eat. Back up. My lunch, I forgot I have 5 little candy bars.
Nice. Halloween style?
A little Halloween style.
Yeah.
Like every day I have 5.
Yeah, and if you didn't have that, that would build up over a week or two. You'd be like, I'm itching to eat a whole bag of them.
Yeah, and then I just go ham on a whole bag and just make myself
moderation.
sick. Yeah, I like the mixed bag so you can kind of get a little variety.
Yeah.
Today I had some Milk Duds and Kit Kat.
This is a bad time of year for my wife and I because Halloween comes up. Our son's 8, and we've got to inspect all of his candy and try half of it.
Sure.
He's a kid that does not need sugar at all, so he gets like a whole bunch.
I don't think
here's 6
anybody,
pieces.
adult or child, needs a whole lot of sugar.
No.
I mean,
natural sugar, even that in moderation.
Yeah.
But added crappy extra sugar, especially with little kids, they're developing brains and.
Oh, I mean, that's a whole other tangent. I mean, you're going to talk about food and processed food, and that's why I don't go out to eat a lot. I just don't.
Yeah. I'm trying to make that change because I got RA, I've got rheumatoid arthritis, so a lot of times I have these like crazy flare-ups. I'm like, what did I eat yesterday? I'm like, it's probably the 28 beers and burger and fries. And
I've
all
been
this
kind of down on
processed shit.
alcohol too.
Makes a big difference too.
Which is depends on who hears this. They may call me a liar. But,
Same. I drink 1 IPA after work.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll have. I eat out once a week. No other time. Very rarely. I never say never. But we go eat Mexican food with some CrossFit friends, and I usually have 1 beer or maybe 2.
Yeah.
And that's it. And it's I'm drinking a Corona or something, so it's not like I'm Hop Master 7000 high gravity beer.
That's what I'm trying to do. Because I switched from regular beer to IPA. My thought process was after work, instead of drinking like 4 or 5 beers, because it's not super strong, Corona or whatever, and I'll drink like 4 or 5 maybe. I don't drink a ton of beer. Like I don't have a crazy high tolerance, but the first bunch I'll drink fast, like the first 4 or 5. So my thought process was, and then I'll feel full and I'll eat like shit and then not want to get up and do jiu-jitsu. So my thought process was I'll get this 20-ounce can of IPA that's 10%. I don't like the taste of IPAs.
Yeah,
I'll drink this on an empty stomach, catch a nice buzz. I'm good to go. I won't be full beer. So now I'm so used to doing that. So the other day I got a Corona and I was like, this tastes like asshole. Like it just tasted like just crappy light beer. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'm an IPA drinker now. But I drink 1 of them.
Yeah.
Instead of a 6-pack.
And, I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's awesome. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not, I drank enough for probably both of us the time I was in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
And probably some other family members you have too.
Yeah. I was gonna say that's an ongoing thing I've heard with the. I don't know if it's specific to Marines, but I've heard that.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, it's not a. I have no idea, but I imagine it's not an easy job, and it's easy to.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I don't know. It's fun.
Probably burn off the calories before you even.
I mean, you're 22, and it's like a super high testosterone, very aggressive environment everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Like there's a bunch of just dudes that are, caged up.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go to the little store on base and buy a soda and you can get in a fight, or you can just meet the best dude you've ever met in your life, and it can just go either way at any time, and that's fine. It was fun. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of understood that. It was. I wouldn't change it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't not do it.
Yeah.
I would not recommend someone else do it.
Right.
So.
It's awesome.
But, I ate out a lot. I had, my eating habits were awful in the Marine Corps.
Mm-hmm.
You had the chow hall, or you would just eat some trash.
Yeah.
Like fast food all the time.
Yeah.
And I was still going to the gym, and I guess the way everyone works out, the most typical way most people worked out was the bodybuilder style of, bench on Monday and back on Tuesday and legs on Wednesday. So, we'd all take protein powder and do all the shit that kids do. And
muscle milk.
Yeah. Muscle milk. And we were going to eat healthy, so we'd get some ramen noodles, and, we're going to make our own meals, by God, and that's got to be healthier than McDonald's. Like, no, it's about the same. They're all trash. But,
a little more expensive.
Yeah, right.
Last thing we'll touch on, and then we'll wrap this thing up. You do anything specific for sleep? That's always like the number one thing you hear about being that important, which I agree with, but
no,
everyone's got a different
I just try and be consistent. Consistency is, my wife always jokes and says she doesn't, I get real upset when people move my cheese, and I do. Like my day is I wake up, I have my coffee, I make my eggs, I do I brush my teeth and and then I shower. So I consistently just try and get to bed at the same time every night.
Yeah.
If I wanted to sleep late, I guess that'd be past 7.
Yeah.
I'm usually up at 6:30ish. If I try and sleep past 7, my dog's usually trying to give me CPR.
We have 2 dogs. I get that.
And I'm like, what the fuck?
Our dog. It's funny. I'm an early morning person. I get up at 4:30 during the week, and then on the weekend I sleep until like 6. But our son, who's 8.5 or so, he's also a morning person. And our 2 dogs are labs, and they're young, and they are also morning dogs. And
I love
my
a
wife
lab.
is not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have some type of hound mix, and they're nuts. they're a couple clicks off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that dog tries to give me CPR every morning. It's like bouncing on my chest. I'm like, shit, it is 7:01.
Bro.
She's like, yeah, 01.
I'm ready for food, dude.
Feed me.
That's funny. Yeah, I've tried the same thing. I try to be consistent. I go to sleep ultra early because I get up ultra early, so I'm like half asleep by like 7 o'clock. But I don't always sleep that great. I have a lot of broken up sleep. So if I get like a solid 5 hours, I'm happy. Then
part of the reason I'm down on alcohol.
That too.
You get back to, all these things kind of overlap, the diet and the alcohol and getting the right sleep and working out, and all these things kind of add up to a fairly healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
I would think. I would like to hope.
Your priorities are...
But it just allows me to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
I guess ultimately I'm just selfish.
Yeah.
I want to go play Jiu-Jitsu. I want to go ride mountain bikes.
Yeah.
I want to,
But even not even selfish stuff. I mean, if you can't function because you're just got crappy sleep, you're not going to be a great dad or, husband or employee, whatever. There's just a lot of stuff's going to fall apart if you just have crappy sleep. But yeah, so I don't sleep all that great. But yeah, if I have a beer, I'll wake up after it's out of my system, and sometimes I'll go back to sleep. Sometimes I'm up and ready to.
I notice it. So we go out
work
and,
at 2.
we go out to Friday and we have, food, and I'll have my 1 beer.
Mm-hmm.
I'll eat out and have a beer, like double down on that, right? I wake up 2 or 3 times in the middle of the night, like, why am I so freaking thirsty? Because I heavily salted food and this and that. Or I'll have to get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. I'm like,
Yep.
what the hell?
The way it was explained to me was when alcohol comes out of your system, your body like wakes up. So if I drink a bunch of beer and I'll like pass out or just go to sleep in like heavy sleep, but I'll wake up at like 3 o'clock. I think after everything's out of my system, I'm up and I'm like not tired anymore at all. Sometimes it's like 1:30 in the morning and it's on the weekend. I'm like, oh, that's great. I guess I don't know, go do some push-ups or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I try to not, I mean, if I can have one beer early enough where it's kind of out of my system before I go to bed, and then I sleep a lot better. I use CBD and some tinctures and things like that to just sleep heavy. But yeah, if I just go to sleep without anything specific, anything like that, I'll wake, I'll have a broken up however long I'm in bed. So if I'm in bed for 8 hours, it's a shitty 8 hours sleep. But if I plan it properly,
it's got to be, I would rather have 6 hours of quality sleep than 10 hours of shit sleep. And I think the alcohol really screws you up.
Yeah.
Like it just makes me unrested.
Yeah. My sister's going to love to hear this, by the way. We're both trying to take alcohol out of our system.
Yeah.
And
I'm not saying I'm never going to drink a beer.
Yeah.
Like I'll probably drink beer until the day I die, but I just don't do it that often. You know, if it's your birthday party and hey, big anniversary or something, like okay. Yeah. But other than that,
I'm more of I'm trying to not do it during the week and then just whatever on the weekend. But whatever on the weekend used to be, a freaking 12-pack before like 2 o'clock or whatever. Down in Florida, we were just beaching it up, and then again at night. And now I'm like,
no, it was all day.
I'll buy a 12-pack and it lasts Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I usually will have some left over unless it's an IPA. Then it's a totally different story. But but anyway.
Those are hard to get rid of.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I think we went camping for 2 or 3 days, and I had a 6-pack. I gave 2 of them away and brought one home. So
that's why I like the IPAs. It's not like I'm pounding a bunch of beers. Smaller beer because it's stronger.
These are PBRs.
Yeah, that's totally different.
You could just,
that's like Busch Light. Slamming Busch Lights, showing how many beers you can drink.
Yeah, it's just hard. I think the older you get, the harder. Yeah. You start to realize that stuff. When you're 20, you're like, well, whatever, man.
I notice it. It's the way I feel. Like I'll feel like, especially if I eat salty food, like the whole body bloats.
Well, alcohol, you get your hangover. Same thing happens with food. Like when I go out to eat, if for whatever Aunt Louise's birthday party and we all go to where, right? So you go eat someplace and everyone's all like, "Oh, I'm getting the special sauce," and like that, it just doesn't even taste good.
Yeah.
But the next day you wake up and you're like,
that was a horrible, horrible mistake.
Yeah.
Stomach's all jacked up.
Feel like puffy, and you're just kind of groggy in the head, and like. I don't know what the hell.
Yeah,
it's food hangover.
Yeah, and I started kind of over the years, like anticipating that, like I'm gonna order that, and then I'll be like, I can already feel like that. What that's gonna feel like. Where normally that wouldn't kick in until halfway through the meal, and I'm like, oh, this was a bad mistake. So sometimes I'll avoid that because I know what it's gonna, and I'll be mad at myself, and I'll just feel like crap for a day.
So we go out Friday, and I'll have like 2 or 3 street tacos, with just some meat in it, and some onions and cilantro and. That's it. That's all I need.
That's good stuff, too.
But, it's good. Yeah.
It's out of the ordinary what you normally eat. It kind of breaks it up a little bit.
Sure, you want the frijole extra sauce special, and it's like a swimming pool of cheese with some beans and, big pile of meat and a bunch of corn chips on it. And,
That jacks up your sleep like crazy, too.
Yeah. It does. It does mine.
Yeah.
And I think it's just... I used to eat like that. That's what I lived on.
Yeah.
I'd love to eat that way. But it's, I don't know, maybe quality and quantity.
Yeah.
I don't think the quality is there. I think the tacos I make at the house are better.
Yeah. Same thing with like burgers and sandwiches. Yeah.
And I can control what's in it.
Yeah. So. Agreed. Unless it's Wawa. I want Wawa subs. I don't think they have that here yet.
No, it's a big Philly thing.
Yeah.
So I go to Philly every year for the Marine Corps birthday.
Yeah.
That's where I first ran into Wawa.
I love Wawa.
They like live and die by Wawa.
I went to college in South Jersey. They didn't have it in North Jersey yet. And when I was in South Jersey, it was everywhere. They didn't have the gas stations attached to it, and the bread is up there is different and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was in Florida, and they had it. They finally brought it to Florida, and it was like the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
It wasn't the same. The bread's different, but still. Anyway, but yeah, I usually will make a lot of the stuff at my house just because I feel like I make it better.
Yeah.
Than
absolutely.
A lot of places go to.
And I make it the way I want it.
Yeah.
And guess what?
Exactly.
I could throw on a pair of flip-flops and a T-shirt and cruise around the house in a pair of cut-off shorts and.
Yep.
lay there with my dog and eat my food and not have some weird cardboard taste because the Uber driver
and
let
you can
it
make
sit in his
exactly
trunk
how
for
much you want.
45 minutes. And
Yep, exactly.
it's, I don't know. I that's what I mean. People think I'm weird when I eat. I'm not going to eat. I don't like to eat out.
Yeah.
Very rarely.
I do, unfortunately. I try to get healthy stuff when I get out.
Yeah.
That's partially a lie, but
every once in a couple, few weeks, maybe a month or two, I want some damn wings, and they need to be deep fried.
Yeah.
And I want some French fries that are make the paper greasy.
Some greasy pizza.
Yeah. And you go and you get it, and you're like, okay, check.
It's funny, over the last year or so, when I would eat pizza, I'd crush 4 or 5 pieces and a bunch of beers and stuff. Now it's I eat 2 and I'm kind of full.
Yeah,
I want some celery to go.
That's one of the biggest benefits I found from the fasting, is it lets you truly control your diet. You're in control of food. There's no good food to eat. Awesome. I'm just not eating.
Yep.
Okay. You go to the gas station because you're on the road to the beach or whatever. Okay, I'm gonna get some nuts. I might get a kombucha if they have one, or something that's, not a chocolate bar or some whiz special, gas station food.
Shitty processed
hot dog that's been, it's got 20,000 miles on the little rollers. It's I don't need to eat that, man.
Great.
Yeah. Thanks anyway.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. Anything you want to mention on the way out? Anything you want to?
No, man. Thanks for having me. This is,
well,
it was neat.
It's an interesting experience as doing this. It's fun hosting them and stuff like that. But
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you doing it, man. Taking the time. Appreciate your service, and look forward to at some point rolling with you soon. We've never rolled together. I'm always a 6 a.m. person.
Yeah, you should come in the evenings.
Yeah, I'll try. I'll be sleeping.
It's way more fun in the evening.
So we joke around about. I think I mentioned this with Rick. Quote unquote, a joking competition between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. It's okay, but we got to do it at 6:30 because I'm going to sleep at 7:30. So
no, it's
it's hard.
I don't know. Evening's fun because it's everyone's done with their day and they're like, fuck it, this is man.
Yeah.
I'm going to do some fun shit for me at the end of the day, and I don't have to be anywhere, and I don't have to check my phone, and you can just roll.
I've done a few 6 p.m. classes. Once I get here, it's fine. But usually, it was mainly when I was working in an office all day long. I was eat regular lunch, and I was I just want to go home and just veg out on the couch or drink some beer. I don't want to go exercise right now. Part of that is me being a morning person anyway. I get up and I get up before my alarm goes off every single day, and I'm up and all right, Rich, what are we doing? And I'm planning stuff. My wife's don't talk to me until 3 o'clock, and I'm like.
Yeah, I'm a little bit like that. I need a coffee. Let me get my teeth brushed. Let me get my feet on the ground, and it's okay.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you. We're not having a whole conversation about how we feel about the new drapes you want to buy. I'm like, no. I'm like that's opposite with us. I'm like that, but planning stuff for the day. I'm up and ready to all right, we're doing the garage. Then I got the patio, doing this. He's I literally just got out of bed. I'm all right, I'll give you 5 minutes. Then we're getting shit done, okay? Yeah.
Anyway, thanks again, man.
Awesome, man. Yeah,
Appreciate
this was
it.
awesome. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Is that recording? Okay, cool.
That Jits Life.